Welcome. Have you ever missed someone that you never actually met? That ache, it's not a delusion, it's a frequency. And what you're doing is you're tapping into a parallel timeline romance that already exists. Your soul is vibrating with a love that transcends time. So let's decide the sacred echoes of your other life. Let's see what your other life is calling for as it relates to love. So we will travel back in time and then back to the current. It's like a past life reading, but it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. And I'm going to start this reading where we're going to start with the major arcanas. Then I'm going to let the romance angels start the reading, which is usually what I finish the reading with. But first, I want to start with the major arcanas and just see what message they may have, or it may give us the type of person. This would definitely be a soulmate. For some, it could be a twin flame. And I have to say, there's a lot going on in the sky right now that I just feel is really to help these loves come together. So, this is why I felt urged to do this reading today. Okay. We have the world. Interesting. With temperance. Interesting. So the world talks about something has come to completion. Well, I feel like that's your other timeline. Though it doesn't feel complete. That's the thing. And then you have temperance, which is all about divine timing. But if you look what temperance is doing, she's mixing the loving waters of two cups, soulmates, in their divine timing. So some of you are feeling this energy because it's closer than you think. The world means something is also not just completed, but something is ready to open up. And I have to say, I feel like the world's energy, number one, is the most spiritual time in your life. Well, it's just the beginning of your spirituality. Um, but then it just deepens and deepens. And this is the full in the middle of the world portal. So I feel like it's the saying, or temperance is saying, divine timing is saying, get ready. Get ready. There's a reason why I'm doing this reading today. And this love life, this is from past lives. So I wanted to make it clear with our guides. Let's put those right there. And let's open up with the romance angel. So again, we're doing this a little different. Actually, we can move those right there. Oh, and my Movidite of 15 million years old. Okay, so we can move those there. All right, so I want to start with the romance angels because I want to see, well, whatever we can see about this past life love that feels like it wants to come out, so we shall pick it. And let's see if anything else wants to come out. And I may finish also with these. All right. Wow. How interesting. This could be the one. Not only that, you've already met the romantic partner you seek. This could be the one. And you've already met them. Well, we know that. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Beautiful. I mean, temperance coming out, mixing the loving waters of these soulmates, the world. Definitely one lifetime to the next. And it feels like something that wants to open up soon. And how beautiful, just that I chose to do the romance angels first. And then we get this could be the one. You've already met that romantic partner you seek. Exactly why I'm doing the reading. So I think we'll leave those here for now. And we may bring them back out. All right, so I'm going to use the Universal Tarot. And I am completely letting our spirit guides lead me. So try to have your intuition open. We'll be traveling back. Okay, 2 cards. The Hierophant. First of all, it is card of Taurus. It is a 5, change. Interesting that it is the first card, the first tarot card. I always feel like the Hierophant wants you to ask yourself, how are you living your life? Here's these keys that I talk about often. I feel like the keys to a kingdom, but it comes through the understanding of oneself. Like, am I living life according to my morals, my standards, my faith? Do I keep faith alive? I know sometimes it's hard, but with temperance, the world, everything feels like it's about to happen. Change. The keys to your kingdom. The 4 of Swords. What's interesting is I often feel like, and I already feel the energy of some of you have been, let's just say, through it, as it relates to love. Because this is really about love. It's about life. But what I was going to say is oftentimes I feel like the 4 of Swords in a love reading can represent a healing soulmate. I feel like soulmates have different purposes. Some are karmic, some are to teach us, some are to redirect us, and some are to love us. And us, them, by the way. Even the 5 and the 4 is a 9, which is about reflection. And I love Mother Mary, like watching over this. So there's a lot of divine support. We have the Queen of Wands, can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But you know what I'm going to say next? It certainly does not have to be. This is a queen of action. This is a queen that moves according to her passions. It's funny, when I see this image, I feel like, because she's also very psychic, and I feel like this black cat, this may just be me, but I feel like she sends this black cat out before she goes out to kind of report back to her. This could be a spirit guide, but I definitely feel that. Like they don't speak in human terms, almost like through the mind. The cat says, it's safe. It's safe for you to move forward. And so she does. We could even call the cat her intuition. We have the 2 of Pentacles, the Juggler's card. Do I or don't I? Will I or won't I? 6 of Wands. Well, that's victory and success. And I want to say that I feel for some of you, and I feel this often in our readings, I know how our spirit guides work. Um, there's certain things in our lives, like let's take this lifetime, where your soul, before it incarnated, had certain things that it really wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. And love is definitely one of them. But I also feel that our guides are often saying, like, first, it's about being true to you, like finding your thing, your success. You know what I mean? This is not about love that, in a way, I want to say it completes you. But in the same breath, I feel like I don't need this love to complete me because I feel complete. Now, maybe not emotionally, but I do feel like, well, I simply feel like Spirit saying that the timing for some of you could have been because there's something you're doing, there's something that you're becoming victorious at. There's something that you can claim success. It may be a business. And it's interesting because in the Six of Wands, this is energy where other people are looking up to you. Why are they looking up to you? Because of action steps that you've taken. How did you get there? Well, let me tell you. This person's overcome a lot and has created a lot. 2, 4, 5, 6. We're just missing the 3. All right, let's keep going. And again, I'm letting our guides guide me. So, keeping my mind out of it. 2 of Pentacles means you are going to be making a decision. But what about? Queen of Cups. Look what she's holding. Cup. She's facing the future. Even if this cup is of the past, she's still facing the future. That means this cup is meant to be part of her future. This can be Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But this, to me, is love. Because she's holding that cup. And I have a feeling, and I don't feel desperately, though I feel like I may be searching for my other cup. And I have a feeling you're going to find it. Queen of Cups, nurturing, loving, can be dramatic, but she's in the upright. We have a Tower under the Four of Swords, that healing. Boy, that feels like a past lifetime. And then the Two of Wands. So where there was a question, should I begin down this new path? I feel like you are now answering that in the Two of Wands with a yes. And you know what else is interesting? There's those 2 keys, which feels like the keys to your kingdom. And then look at this. There's a wands. But to me, they resemble the keys. I feel like something happened in a past lifetime. um, you may not have been able, let's put it this way. I feel like you loved. You definitely were in love in a past lifetime. But I feel like something happened. Something happened, pretty dramatic Okay, so I feel like one of these soulmates left the earth before the other. And I do feel like that was dramatic. Of course, it was dramatic. It was life changing. And I feel like I didn't love again after that. How could I? How could I? Boy, this is someone in your past life where you, like two lovers, two soulmates, they were in love. They were in love. And then I feel like something happened outside of your control. I don't feel like someone left you. Well, I do feel like someone left you, but I feel like they left this world. And then that tower. But you know what? That tower to me feels like the closing of the previous life. And the Two of Wands, the beginning, even though you're not just beginning this life, but the beginning of what was left unfinished, let's say, in this life or in last life. But now it feels like it's an opportunity. But where are you? Where are you, soulmate? Where are you? We have the Queen of Pentacles, who I do call my psychic detective. So funny, I just said, where are you, soulmate? Where are you? I feel like this is the queen that could find them. This is the queen that could hunt them down. Not that you have to hunt them down. This is a queen that can read between the lines. And I feel like it's energetic lines here. And then we have the moon. Card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer, mirrored by the Queen of Cups. This is very dreamy energy. And some of you may have had these dreams. You know, it's interesting because I feel like there's a frequency to the voice that matches. I don't know if that makes sense to you. There's a frequency to your voice, to their voice, that only matches each other's. Interesting. What am I holding? The moon. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you um, help others, like you guide them through the dark, through their darkness. And I feel like the only way that you could be as good as I feel like you are, and some of you may not have started on this path yet, but it is an option. But I do feel like why you're so good at it is because you've been there. Oh, I've been in the dark. And, you know, I'm not feeling desperate energy, but I am feeling like this quiet longing. Suits on the bottom of the deck. Five of Wands. You know what I feel like? I feel like it's a saying, even though it's not really saying it, but I feel like what's okay, so this is what your guides want you to know. It's not that you haven't loved in this lifetime. You have, and you have been loved. But something hasn't fulfilled you. Like you haven't found that ultimate fulfillment. And again, You've been in love and you have been loved. But there's just something. Well, I feel like it's the longing for your soulmate. And it's probably on a subconscious level, deep within the intuition, like your higher self knows this. And, I feel like another thing Spirit is saying for the relationships that have ended, try to let them go, especially if you really want this to come in. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is sometimes we overthink past relationships, like, there's nothing wrong with reflecting, and we should reflect. We want to know ourselves in love. And we want to be able to give, just like it says here, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Well, highest energy as it relates to love, soulmate, or twin flame. And I just get this sense of hanging on to the past, like the things that didn't work out, the people it didn't work out with. I don't feel like it was meant to. I feel like each relationship came to an end, even if I had a hard time allowing it to end. I feel like this is part of your spiritual path. So it's almost like they had to come to an end. And I get it because I get this sense that being free and clear, you know what I mean? Like my heart is completely open for one love. I'm not thinking about these previous loves anymore. Look at that, the Fool underneath that, the Nine of Wands underneath that. So that deep reflection, which is perfect. This is because the Nine of Wands is like you're looking back, at least let's say the last 9 years, because we run in 9 year cycles, but you're looking back and finding real clarity. That makes sense that you're in the Six of Wands because you reflected back. You now understand how you overcame, um, and in the times you thought, oh, I'll never overcome this. And then something changes, and lo and behold, you overcome it. And it makes you the Fool in a good way. The Fool, as in free and clear, ready for that next adventure. Some of you could have kept running into the same type of energy. And then you wonder, what is this love all about? I mean, I feel like someone out there is saying, love hurts. And I get it. It can hurt. But I also feel like you guys are being very clear on what has already ended, was meant to end. And to me, that means it's time for something new. So let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go deeper. Interesting. Six of Pentacles, all about giving and receiving. It's really the lesson of, sometimes it's so easy to give and hard to receive, like truly receive. This is that equal balance, the way it should be. Coming over the Hierophant. So that is what the Hierophant is asking you. I feel like things have felt unbalanced lately. And I feel the opportunity is here to change those things around. It starts with you. We have the Five of Pentacles. It just flipped itself around. That's good. We have the Six of Pentacles, but also flipped itself around. Interesting. Actually, let me slide these down a little bit. This is just the Virgo in me. Like I like my cards to be a certain way. Okay. All right. So we have the Five of Pentacles over the Four of Swords. That's kind of beautiful. Because I feel like this is trying to ease your mind. Five of Pentacles is that energy of feeling thrown out into the cold. And I have a feeling that has happened, but it's coming over healing. I also feel like this is saying this is not about, like, if someone is worried, like, oh, won't this just result in a tower also? The answer is no, unless our energy maybe isn't at the highest. I feel like this queen had to learn to believe in herself, had to learn to believe in her intuition, had to believe in her own power. I feel a lot of power with her. And by the way, I feel like you're all people on the table unless you feel it differently, or if I feel it differently, I'll let you know. But I definitely feel you're all the queens here, male or female. And I feel like there's this sense of power that someone, and when I say power, it's a personal power that someone just, I don't know, in a way didn't realize they carried this potential. And it's like you had to take a chance on yourself, or this may be asking you to take a chance on yourself. Who knows? You two may connect through doing very similar type of work, or be very similar in the way that you care about your fellow man and woman. All right, let's keep going. Beautiful. The Empress, the mother figure, the nurture, the creative one, powerful. This is the exact energy that love really calls for. This is someone whose heart is open. Again, open your heart to receive the highest energy of all. You know why this queen's heart is so, or the empress's heart is so open? It's because she trusts her intuition above all. And she knows her intuition will protect her. You know, if something is not right, she's going to feel it. She's going to trust that. If something is right, she's going to feel it. She's going to trust that. Doesn't mean she can't ever make a mistake. But this is not someone who would then, like, if I make a mistake, I feel like she would just be like, oh, okay, I made a mistake. Next. I love this image also of this apple about to hit her on the tree. It's like a spark. What is it waking her up to? Right over the Two of Pentacles. So it's like this apple hits her in the head but I feel like it's a spark from a past life. And then coming over the Two of Pentacles, so the Empress is the one who's ultimately making the decision. But that makes me feel good because I know the Empress will trust her intuition. And I know the Empress's heart is open. So this giving and receiving, where it may have been an issue, is turning around. You're turning around. Well, you're evolving. Let's put it that way. This is not an overnight thing, but it is something that your guides have been taking notice of. Like a lot of you are really growing on a spiritual level. All right. Let's see what comes out next to the Empress. Interesting. The Two of Pentacles again. Two of Pentacles mirroring the Six of Pentacles. That's interesting. Empress is coming over the Two of Pentacles and then brings out the Two of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. Okay, well, that can't be the Empress's energy. So this would be someone else. This is a self-created prison. This is not trusting your intuition. This is the opposite of the Empress's energy. Doesn't mean that she's never been through this. She probably has. This can talk about closing oneself down, closing my heart down. And again, there's a reason why I did the romance angels first. And everything is telling you to free yourself. You know, it's self-created. So the only person who can truly free themselves is the one who's created it. But it is about a new beginning. And by the way, when you free yourself from this energy, it feels like freedom. It means you're now trusting your intuition. You know, if everything was perfect, then it'd be hard to believe in what I'm getting. Because that's not life. Life can be messy. I feel like this Queen of Cups who's holding this cup in her hand, it's almost like she is feeling like if I put my cup out there, won't it just result in another tower? And you know, that depends on one's own energy, what I've been attracted to. You know, has the lower vibration been calling my name and have I been answering it? Or am I saying no more, no more, no more, no more? Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. All right. Will this queen free herself from that prison? Will she find that cup? Wow. Hello. This is beautiful. Now, it's coming over the tower. And some may say, what's so beautiful about that? Here's your past life love. Here is your past life love. Unexpected. But that's usually the way love happens. Right over the tower. With the Five of Pentacles, which is much like a tower, reversed. So it definitely feels like it's saying, this will not result in a tower. As long as both of you, well, let's just say, you allow yourself to be in the Empress's energy. You know, to me, like all these twos, it may just be stepping into something. You know, something I hear from my guides all the time is we're always thinking about the final destination and not about the journey. And the journey is where life really takes place. So here comes this love. Can I say, I feel like I want to give this soulmate a title of your healing soulmate, especially connected right to the Four of Swords. And I often feel that, like after we've been through a lot, after you know, we've loved others and we've gone through these towers, but then I feel like it's finding that way to bounce back, to become the Empress. And that feels like the lighting of the flame, the beginning of it all. So this night is either going to be met by the Eight of Swords or met by the cup that the Queen's already holding. This Queen was looking for that other cup. Look how quickly it shows. And I feel like what this is also saying is it's showing so quickly for those who have freed themselves from the Eight of Swords energy. For those who are really trusting in their intuition and not putting up walls. It doesn't stop it. However, it doesn't help it either. But here's that cup. Here's that cup that the Queen was searching for. I say searching for, but it's like she's just putting that cup out into the atmosphere. Just how I said, like, each of your voices have a certain frequency. It's like she's looking for that frequency. And this night, here's that call. Here I come. I heard the frequency of my soulmate. By the way, this can be the other way around, too. Hang it, Nine of Swords. Worry. The meaning of this card is unnecessary worry. I have to say, this is definitely for those who maybe are still carrying some energy of the past. But I still want to remind you that it's unnecessary worry. And it's over the Two of Wands. Two of Wands, you're definitely making a decision if you're going to step upon a path. But notice how it's a two. You just step upon it. Let's say for some reason you find that this isn't your ultimate soulmate, which I don't know why that would happen, because I feel like my guides wanted, or our guides, because this is what I feel. My guides already are in touch with your guides before you even know it. And many of you will feel guided towards this reading. Like, I already know that. And there's a reason. There's a reason why you're watching this. And I guess what I'm trying to... okay, I'm going to keep going. Well, look at that, the King of Cups. Kind of answering the Queen of Cups call. And look what he's holding. That cup. Under the Empress. There's that cup. I mean, the Knight of Cups is the one who brings it in. But it feels like with the Queen and the King of Cups here in the same line of also the Knight of Cups, they feel like-minded. And I'm not even talking about like they have to be a water sign. I feel like someone just heard that vibration or felt that vibration, and they're answering that call. The unknown card, interesting, coming over the moon, which can also talk about uncertainties. This is the high priestess, but you can see like her crystal ball is cloudy. She can't see. She doesn't know what lies ahead in the future, but maybe she's not meant to. Again, maybe this is about the journey and the final destination. Like, in a way, if we truly love each other, then I feel like we don't have to worry about that final destination. Sometimes you got to go in blindly. Sometimes you have to take a chance. Not all chances pay off, but that shouldn't stop you. Maybe for a period of time, but then get back up on that horse again. Or let me just say, how do I say this? Like, I want you to believe in this type of love. All right, I'm going to go under this also. I wasn't going to. I was going to try to make it short and sweet, but I feel like I have to keep going. The Hierophant again. Interesting. So over the Queen of Cups, but also that Eight of Swords. That Eight of Swords and the Hierophant, they're talking to each other. I feel like the Hierophant is asking the Queen, have you given up faith? Do you no longer believe? Have you stopped trusting in us? And we understand, but we're here to show you. Like, I feel like this is producing real fruits. This Hierophant looks like he's about to give you a blessing. Like he's about to bless this love. I'll take it. I'll take it for you. Um, so double Taurus on the board. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Well, that fits perfectly. But let's keep going. Let's get the rest of the cards out. We'll come back. Because that Seven of Pentacles really is everything here. But I'll explain that in a second. The King of Wands. So interesting, we have the King of Wands in line with the Queen of Wands. So we have the Queen of Cups in line with the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands in line with the King of Wands. The sun, beautiful. The sun will come out to my room. Heart of Leo. This, my friends, is your illuminator. I love how the sun is mirroring the Empress. This is about a brand new day, and it's very playful type energy. Truly making you feel like a kid again. Butterflies. All that. All right, that's a lot, but we'll take them. Interesting, we have the moon over the moon, the Hierophant mirroring the Hierophant, the moon over the moon, the Eight of Cups, ah, the Knight of Pentacles. I'm glad I took these now. The Tower, the Star. Lots of major arcanas, by the way. So, major changes. Okay, I want to go back and I want to talk about the Seven of Pentacles real quick because it's coming over the Knight of Cups. It's coming over the Tower, which definitely feels like the ending of our last lives together. But the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like here, I have to feel some of these seeds because this is like your tree of life. That's what I call it. And these seeds, these pentacles you see on the tree, well, the first message with the Seven of Pentacles is patience. But think of it like your garden. You plant a seed, right? You're not going to stand over that seed and be like, come on, break the ground. It breaks the ground in its divine time. All you need to do is nurture it. Make sure I'm watering that seed. But I feel like this is saying also, this is the divine time that this love comes in. Meant to be. Like you sit on each other's tree of lives. I have a feeling both of you made this agreement to come together. And I don't feel like it was early in life. I mean, you may have come together early in life and then broke up. But I feel like there's a timing to this. And the timing feels like it's now. So let's move over to the Eight of Cups, which is beautiful because I feel like it is answering the Eight of Swords with the Hierophant really coming in between. Actually, it's this way. Can't do things when I'm looking on the screen. So the self-created prison, Hierophant's like, have you given up your faith? Have you stopped believing? Also about to give a blessing. Eight of Cups, emotional clarity, walking away from the past, heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner harmony, which is so important. And I feel like it's a part of what was meant to be. Doesn't mean you're perfectly healed because, again, I feel like you're both coming in to help, well, to love each other for sure, but also to help heal those broken little pieces. This person is heading towards inner harmony. That means they have freed themselves from the Eight of Swords. They heard the calling. And then it's about fulfillment of wishes. Hello, wishes. It's about manifesting your dreams. Some of you don't even know. Like when I say dreams, I really mean dreams. And that may be why it's coming over the moon. Okay, let me put these back in place real quick. Because next, we're going to move to the Knight of Pentacles, who I call your guardian angel. This knight also speaks of patience. This is just telling us that this is what I feel. It was so important, probably to your soul and your spirit guides. Like they're kind of following what you agreed to. And it's like when I feel I'm in the Empress's energy, that is its timing. And the Knight of Pentacles tells you, I come at the right time. Not before, not after. You can't make me, but you can help me. It feels like the more I clear the energy of the past, live more in the present, believe in really the unbelievable, though I can tell you just from my own life that it absolutely can and is coming true. And as I say that, is it for everyone? Well, I want you to trust your own intuition on that. But this is beautiful because this tells you that when this comes in, it is divine's timing. It is the right time. It is exactly as planned. And I feel like the sun with the tower, because the sun is your illuminator, it's telling you that if there was to be any towers, which I don't feel there would be, the sun would illuminate it to you immediately. That's what the sun is about. It is your illuminator. Anything done in the dark will come to the light. Maybe for some of you, something needed to come to the light to allow you to complete something so that you can move into the world's energy. And then we get the star over the moon, but double moons. My wishes in the star, mirroring the Eight of Cups. It's very clear. And it's not like, why couldn't something be before? Well, because this is its timing. First of all, I feel like it's the vibration. It is like the calling of the soulmate, and then the soulmate hearing that. But again, this feels all predestined to me. It just does. It feels like it's predestined. And the reason why I'm doing this reading is to help some of you see, like the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and even the Nine of Swords. Like this is the energy that really doesn't serve us moving forward. This is about trusting your intuition. And remember, you can always say yes or no. But there's something very special here. There's something very special here. Okay. Well, I just want to ask. Okay. So I don't really have like an actual question. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to ask our guides to give me any other information that we can have or anything that I may have missed to bring it back to my attention. Again, relating to love, the Nine of Pentacles, independent energy, independent success. I felt like that was a big part of it. The Page of Swords. That kind of feels like your voice. Let me stop for 1 second. Because I feel like the Nine of Pentacles, just like I felt earlier, I feel like it's an important part of your soul's, I don't want to say purpose. Let's say one of your soul's desires. But I also feel like this is something that your soul wanted before it came into this lifetime. It doesn't guarantee it, right? Because once you're born, you have amnesia. And then free will can certainly change the direction you were planning on going. But that's where soulmates often come in. I'm about to take a left when really I should have taken a right, and a soulmate comes in like in just for a second, bumps me and puts me on that right path. Some of you may have created a business, and Lord knows, like how proud your guides are, because they're just proud of you. But I also feel like they're proud because this is something your soul wanted to accomplish, and you're accomplishing it. And it is like your soul said, I want success for myself first. And these loves that you've been through, well, who knows? Some of you, it may be exactly what you're helping other people with. Three of Wands, optimism, present moment energy. This really is trusting in divine timing, but this is not doing nothing while waiting for divine timing. This is someone who's living their life. This is someone who's saying to divine, I know my real love will come in when it's meant to come in. Some of you, this reading may have changed your focus. It may have changed your outlook. It's asking you to stay optimistic, to believe that this Knight of Cups, it's on this path. It's completely different than the Eight of Swords. And I love that we have the Three of Wands connected to the Empress, both threes, 33. Well, 33 is pure love, pure tone. All right, anything else? Maybe timing? Can we get anything about like the timing? And I know as soon as I said that, I know a lot depends on you, right? Especially for those who are in the Eight of Swords, that does move to the Nine of Swords. So these walls are not serving me. If anything, they're keeping me more in a fearful state. I'm sure that it's due to the past. I'm sure it's due to hard love, loss, all that. Yet your guides still want you to find a way to be optimistic about the potential of your future, because it is your tone. Interesting. I just said that because 33, pure tone. And this whole reading seems to be based on the tone, the frequency of the soulmates. All right, so anything else? Okay, I'm going to let that be. But we are going to finish with the romance angels one last. I don't even have to cut them. We already did that. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Keep an open mind, an open heart, an open mind. And by the way, sometimes it's good that they're different from the ones of the past in this lifetime. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And let's just do one more. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Interesting. Okay. I said last one, but I kind of want clarity on that one. I know love takes work, and, it takes both. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Calling in your soulmate. If you notice, we're getting soulmate. Just the word soulmate over and over. Release your ex. Well, that definitely has to do with the Five of Wands over there. The time has come to clear your energy. It's time to disconnect from the world. I want you to look at this image, though. First of all, this woman's got a wedding dress on. That's what it looks like to me. And I feel like she's walking with a spirit guide. This reminds me of the Four of Swords. And I feel okay. So I feel this person different from her is her actual soulmate. Some of you may have been married, and it's interesting because I get this sense that the essence of this person was there. Maybe this essence of this person and your essence, it never leaves. It's always there. It's always been there and always will be. Wow, that's what I hear all of a sudden. Calling in your soulmate. I'm not surprised at all because that's exactly what's making me do this reading. Not making me, but it's exactly what I was feeling, like two vibrations that are coming together. So, to put this in a nutshell, I feel like previous life, one left, one passed away before the other. It broke the remaining soulmate's heart. And they chose never to love again. It's almost like, how could I? How could it's almost like I would measure all love to that person, and no one could complete. No one could measure up to that energy. And I have a feeling that for some of you, it's the same thing in this lifetime and these different relationships. Number one, these love relationships that we've been through, they're teaching us things. They're teaching us how to be in love, how not to be in love, what we need in love, what we can't accept in love. This is energetic and it's working. It's working. Okay, one last swig, I'll call it, and then we're going to let it be. Trust. Interesting. The situation is calling for you to have faith. We have faith twice. Temperance. Trusting in divine timing. Knight of Pentacles. Patience. But I come at the right time. And that you can trust. It just seems like there's things that you had to go through in this lifetime. and some things that your soul wanted to go through, wanted to accomplish before this came together, even previous loves. Because everything I feel has taught you something, has helped you to evolve to this point where these vibrations, these frequencies can now hear each other. And I guess that's where you need the trust. But everything else is backing it up. So I am going to let it be. I'm going to let it be. And just remind you, the situation is calling for you to have faith. It is asking you to release the X. However, sometimes it's energetic, like the old energy of. And I feel like the more you can trust and just be in your everyday life, like getting excited for the potential, and just that 33, that pure tone, and one last thing, I feel like it's not about the final destination. That final destination will be there. This is about the journey of this romance and how it's coming back again. I love how the queen puts her cup out there and then the knight of cups comes in. But definitely some earthly energy we needed to clear, maybe overcome. But listen, you don't have to be perfectly healed, and I don't know if we ever are, because that's exactly what you do for each other. Comfort, comfort, love. But I feel this sense of comfort. Like I can just lay in their arms and feel I'm at home. And I'm going to let that be. I love you guys. Thank you. I hope you caught the podcast of Sam and I where I asked him some love questions. Not really about me, but just in general from a man's point of view. We did it yesterday. We had a blast. And we're going to continue doing it. Why am I telling you that? Just the way Sam and I came together. For those who know the story, I hope it helps you have belief that you just never know. I mean, Sam and I came together on my end in the most unexpected of ways and time. But 2 weeks, let me just tell you real quick. For 25 years, I was with someone else and I decided to leave. And I was single for only 2 weeks when Sam called. But my spirit guides know me. If I had still been with that other person and Sam called, no matter how much I had wanted it, chances are I probably would have said no. So my guides are like, well, let's get her free. Let's get her single. And then she'll say yes. And that's exactly what happened. So, anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.